It is 3 o'clock somewhere, son. Y'all know what that means. Welcome to Prepper Nation. I am John. Thank you very much for watching and listening and shooting a thumbs up and hitting the subscribe button, helping the platform grow, they tell me. It's truly appreciated. Of course, y'all know the deal by now. This is the rundown. We're going to be running down the live chat comments, the more popular ones from this morning, and also comments left by the replay crowd. I will say, for whatever reason, the option was not available this morning for a little while to leave comments like replay crowd comment style. So there were fewer than normal. I don't know why that is. I don't know if YouTube has changed something or what. But anyway, I brought a couple of things I got to show y'all real quick and then we'll get right into it. Dynamite, this is for you. This is one of the weird war I was ranting about this morning. Um, a chung, which I think means attention in German, if I'm not mistaken, Cthulhu. And this has to do with Atlantis. I love the weird war stuff. And then I was telling folks about a leather journal slash notebook that I got one year for Christmas. Means a lot to me. So there it is. Now y'all know what I'm talking about, right? All right, let's get into the comments. So this morning we're talking about all kinds of stuff, but basically the axis of evil as they've been painted and the fact that, well, I would argue our enemies are here at home. Maybe in DC, maybe you're talking about the sleeper cells, maybe the ones that are causing all the chaos right now, even in the cities. But let's go to the live chat comments first. Valerie Ann, we need to send that $100 billion aid package to the southern border instead. We do, Valerie. That would, I don't know where I stand on this. I would love to see it all going to the southern border, but I don't know if it matters at this point. Um, First of all, they're never going to do that. They've got to fund Ukraine for, again, whatever reason. Um, but I think the damage is done in terms of illegals. I mean, millions have gotten into this country just on Joe Biden's watch alone. Um, we don't know where these people are. We don't know anything about them. They're kind of living totally gray man, when it comes to the government and stuff like this. So putting up a wall now, like if you let a lot of bad people into your home and then you fortify the doors, the bad people are already in your home, so to speak. Now, if they went through and they began doing mass deportations, all right, that would totally make sense. But if we're just going to let these people hang around, uh, honestly, a wall at this point is like, part of my language, like pissing in the wind. I mean, this is something that should have been done a decade ago. Briar Patch, how much Ukrainian money funding gets kicked back to Joe Biden? I would love to know. I would absolutely love to know how much is being kicked back to Biden. Another thing, brother, I would love to know is what happens to the money once it gets there. With other funding packages in the past, let's say I'm going to use Afghanistan as an example, which that was a foobar as well. But when we sent aid packages and we were spending money there, we knew where the money was going. I could go online, I could pull up a complete breakdown of how many Humvees, how many of this type of rifle, how many of this type of rifle. I can't seem to pull any of that up when it comes to Ukraine. They will say, what was it this morning? Like 61 billion, I think, or something. May have been more than that. 61 billion in military aid to Ukraine. If and when this money is sailed over to Ukraine, it becomes impossible to pull up any kind of list to see where it's like this money vanishes or something like that because you don't see the Ukrainians using that much. They're using some of our older weaponry and Britain's older weaponry and Germany's. But it's not like they've spent a half $500 billion on military equipment and munitions. Where's the money going? I don't know. I would love to know. Hunt Outdoors, to be honest, and this is Hunt Outdoors. I appreciate this comment because I don't want it to be an echo chamber over here at Prepper Nation. Hunt Outdoors says, to be honest, if not kept in check, Russia will take back every country that broke away from them when they were the Soviet Union. And Hunt Outdoors is saying if we don't keep Russia in check, they're going to try and rebuild the USSR. My reply to that would be, so what? Who cares? I don't know why this is America's problem. What's happening in Europe? I get your comment. I understand. But again, getting back to this morning's topic, if my freedoms are being stripped away from me by people in DC, I don't really care what Vladimir Putin is doing. I don't care what he's trying to build or reassemble, if you will, like the USSR and stuff. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if he tries to put the USS back together. I care about what affects me. Um, okay, it would be different if our country was loaded with money and we had taken care of things here at home first, and our veterans were getting, the greatest care possible. We were doing something about the homeless epidemic, the drug epidemic. We had secured the borders. We were working on infrastructure. Then, if we had all of this money left over, okay, I totally get it. But we don't have the money, and we need to take care of things here at home. Again, I don't care what the USSR is doing or Putin. Cogito says it's been Axis and allies for the past few years. Let me show you what he's talking about for the uncool people out there. Available on Amazon. Just throwing it out there. That one's a brand new copy, actually. I collect those. There's several. It's been like Axis and allies for the past few years. Just don't know who the bad guys are. Here's Cogito. I'm about to make a statement. Hopefully, people out there don't think I'm a bad person for saying this, but what if there are no good guys? What if everybody involved are bad guys? What if Putin's a bad guy? What if Zelensky's a bad guy? What if there are bad things happening in Russia and Ukraine? What if there are bad things happening, in Israel and bad things being done in the Gaza Strip? But at the same time, what if those folks, Hamas, what if they're bad guys? You understand? We might be in a situation where there are no good guys. It's Axis versus Axis, so to speak. But the World War is coming for sure, and you're right on the money on that. Prepper Book Club, become ungovernable. Love the comment. I've seen the comment previously, but I do love it because we can't seem to get our government to focus on the United States of America. And maybe we're partially to blame because we're too governable. To your point, maybe if we become, because half the country or almost half, they protest out in the streets, they twerk, they set things on fire. But I think our government has gotten used to a certain amount of people and certain demographics doing that. But what if we all became ungovernable? It almost feels like it would force elites to focus on issues at home for a change instead of all over, the world. Chuck the Canuck. Oh, this is a fun comment. Stop doing what the government tells you to do! Exclamation mark. Like paying taxes! Exclamation mark. Fair comment, Chuck, my man. But let me ask you this. How did you post that comment? Did you use a phone? Did you use a computer? Did you use a tablet? If so, you're paying taxes. Do you own a home? Do you drive a car? Are you buying goods at the store? If so, my man, you're paying taxes. Unless you are barefoot and you're wearing 30-year-old clothes and you're living totally off the grid, which again, I don't see how that's the case if you're leaving comments in chat in the morning, which I appreciate, by the way. Maybe you're using the public library or something. I don't know. Anything that you buy, you're paying taxes on. So if there's a way to avoid that, I'm ignorant on it, and I would love for you to explain it to me, please, because it's not like I want to pay taxes. Most of us don't. Arc Nanny, our CVS is changing hours from 11 to 6. We've seen the hours changes as well, just on certain days. But I brought it up this morning because it's the first time in this area that we've seen them begin to shutter or to put out kind of Facebook posts and things saying, "Hey, on such and such day, we're closing the store down," because they're normally busy. So it really, I mean, the money's there. It really makes no sense, but it does when you factor in that they don't have any pharmacists to actually um, to work on this. And I was talking to my cousin yesterday. I don't want to give too much away. He's a professor at a smaller college in West Virginia. I'll tell y'all that much, okay? Um, and he was talking about how there's a shortfall of certain jobs. He brought up doctors and things like this, but also professors, people with specific degrees. I don't really know how to explain it other than not everybody in America can have a culture and diversity degree, right? If you got one, hey, good for you. Pay your college loans back, by the way. But look, not everybody can have one of those. We've got to have plumbers. We've got to have welders. We've got to have doctors. We've got to have, in this case, pharmacists. People just don't have the ambition that they used to have. And we're starting to see it in real time, which gets me back to this morning. And that's a sign of a third world country when people are okay with working very low skill, very low paying jobs, and then relying on the government to fill in the gaps, so to speak. And finally, Koroff, what if they threaten to execute you for saying no to the draft and we're going to split hairs in terms of lead? And if it's my time to go, it's my time to go, but I'm not going to be the only one that goes. I'll tell you that straight up because that's not even legal. That's not constitutionally legal. That is a line in the sand for me. Appreciate the comment. Um, but yeah, I'm not going to be forced with the threat of death to go fight a billionaire's war. I'll cause a lot of trouble before I go. I'll say that. Replay crowd, the Shady Zone. Great channel on YouTube. He said my Walgreens pharmacy is constantly closed because of no pharmacists. Yeah, Shady, I didn't realize it was apparently it's a huge issue. I'd heard it. I hadn't actually seen it other than hours here or there, but apparently I mean it's a huge issue nationwide. People can't get access to the medicines that they're on, the medicines that they need. Not I know this sounds crazy, but not everybody has a Walmart. Walmart has a pharmacy. Not every town has one. Some towns, man, they just have like one Walgreens or one CVS or something like that, or a Rite Aid. And now those, from what I understand, are just open a couple of days a week because the pharmacists have to drive hundreds of miles, from store to store. Fluffy Pup Crochet is going to tell you if you're a guy out there and you can't land a lady, here's how you do it, son. We were talking about Hallmark this morning. Fluffy Pup Crochet said the Hallmark guy in flannel always gets the girl. So if you want the girl of your dreams around Christmas time, during the Christmas holidays, wear flannel. That's it. That's all you got to do. Maybe put a little Brute or Stetson on or something. Brush your teeth. Take care of yourself a little bit, but wear flannel. I don't know if there's a certain color of flannel or anything like that, but excellent comment. R Homestead. I've noticed this was I haven't seen this, and this was kind of a weird comment, but if you're seeing this, this is not a good thing. Um, our homestead said, I've noticed homeless in this area are now in wheelchairs and they're going into stores while people are shopping and they're trying to beg off of them. You know, you're on the aisle looking at loaves of bread, for example, and this person just comes up to you in a wheelchair and they're begging for money, which is, I mean, it's extremely sad when you get right down to it. I don't want anybody to be homeless. I don't want anybody to do without food or anything like that, obviously. But our country is in a really bad way right now. And a lot of people, they just don't have a lot of expendable income. You know, if this is an issue with some churches, with food banks, food pantries, they don't have the stuff they used to have. They don't have as many donations. This is what we're seeing anyway. Not as many donations coming in. And so they're reaching out, trying to get donations wherever they can get them. I mean, it's just a sad situation all the way around. We've always had homeless, but I don't think that it was like this under our previous president. I'll say that much. Um, Skin Town Steelers, what a name. Don't get down or burned out. Slow burn is real. Yeah, exactly. We were talking about Christmas and the holidays, and it's this morning. It's one of those holidays where I don't know if it's seasonal depression or what. It affects people a certain way. You know, if you've got a large family and you don't have much money to buy gifts, maybe you feel bad about that and that kind of gets you down. Um, Maybe you've lost loved ones and we get to missing them more during the holidays and during Christmas and stuff like that. At least I do. But to the point this morning, understand that even though the slow burn is real and it's like quicksand and it's pulling us down a little bit every day, it seems like, try to remain as optimistic as possible. And one of the ways that I do that is I'll focus on something good in my life and I'll run with that, you know. So I'm not feeling down or anything, but right now if I were to feel down, I would say, well, you know what, my both of my kids are healthy and they're excited about Christmas. And so that's something. And so I would focus on that and kind of divert my attention to that and get through the rough spell. At peace in the woods. Home invasions will get worse, especially for the elderly. They're happening now. They're happening in this area, which, I mean, everybody's got crime, I guess, but it's just not something we used to see. We're seeing home invasions, or you see it on the news and in the newspapers and stuff, and car part theft. People are breaking into cars, they're stealing stuff off of vehicles in the middle of the night. And so have floodlights for that very reason. Have floodlights. Some people are fans of the wireless cameras and stuff like that. Others are not fans because they're constantly monitoring and stuff like this, but just have a plan. Understand people that are desperate. You know, I don't want to paint everybody, but I'm drug addicts, for example, they will steal stuff to get that next high. And if they see that you're elderly and you live on your own, that's a great reason to have a firearm and to have home protection and to have well lit outside and stuff like this. Okay. Very relevant comment. Aries GBD, what are your plans for communicating during grid down? I used to feel bad about not being a comms expert, but I've come to realize for me, everybody's plan is going to be different. For me, I'm going to be with the people that I need to be with when it goes sideways and starts rolling in the ditch, so to speak. If we have a collapse, I'm going to be within an hour or two. I'm going to be with the people I need to be with. And at that point, I'm not trying to reach out and contact anybody else. I just need a means of receiving information, radio broadcasts, NOAA, stuff like this. So I've got plenty of options for receiving information and staying informed. You know, some of these are solar, some of these are crank, and the whole nine yards. But I'm not going to be reaching out very much. That's not really on my bucket list because, well, there's several reasons. Again, I'm going to be with the people I need to be with. Plus, I don't like the idea of being triangulated and stuff like that and being found. Um, Gunny Kai, I think I'm saying that the right way, can't send any money. Joe's talking about sending $100 billion. Gunny Kai said, we can't send any. We don't have a Speaker of the House. This is one of the reasons why we don't have a Speaker of the House right now. A lot of your rhinos in the House open checkbooks, blank checks, send whoever, whatever. Some of your more hardline Republicans have gotten in there, the extreme ones, as they're called on mainstream media, and they've said no more. And there are enough of them to stop the reckless spending, but there are not enough of them to elect the Speaker of the House. So we're going to see how it plays out. Eventually we'll have a Speaker of the House, and we'll see if they just start green lighting all of this money. If so, I mean, there's no hope at that point. They're just going to continue to do it. Frank Moses, becoming third world, we should be so lucky. Frank, I realize part of the country is really, really bad. I guess it depends on where you are at, where you live. Um, Most of where I'm at does not look third world. It's not like I walk outside and it's in the inner city. Um, the biggest downside to the area where I live, it's not a ton to do. The nightlife is not great. You know, you can only do so much when it comes to Andy Griffith and checking out this and checking out this, and then you're just like, now what? You know? But on the flip side, the crime is much lower than in the inner city, and it doesn't cost as much to live here. It's definitely not third world here, but it is going to get worse here, and I understand that. And finally, Colleen Hartman. Do you think Biden will keep destroying America and then pardon his family as he leaves office? Biden is going to continue to destroy America, yes, because I believe that's why he's there. We would like to say that Biden is doing a terrible job, but I think he's doing the job he was put there to do, and that is to tear the United States down economically, especially sow division, just be as incompetent and as controllable as possible. Will he pardon his family as he leaves office? That I don't know. Um, if he runs for a second term at his age and his condition, I'm sorry to say, I don't think he's going to be able to finish his second term. I think he will come out of there in a box and be replaced. So I don't know that he would have time to pardon anybody, but I'm still not convinced that he's going to run for a second term. I guess we'll see. But I don't know. He's definitely corrupt, and yeah, he's going to continue to destroy the United States of America. He's really good at that. Folks, thank you very much for being here. This has been the Rundown.